Hi everyone, you're listening to the Vialucci podcast, uncensored and completely unedited discussions about life and everything in it. We hope you enjoy the show.
I need to say something.
Right.
If the remote's
Hello
over
everyone, hi.
Kerem, the remote's over there if this thing goes off.
Brilliant. Hi everyone.
It's not wrong that they don't mind
Podcast
people talking like
time.
this. There's nothing wrong with talking normally. Yes, I actually might just kick straight into it. So this is the part 2 of the one before with Dr. Karen, who's now Karen.
Oh, I was waiting for that. You made me wait a whole episode.
You've had it revoked. Like,
I was going to say, have you been demoted? Yeah.
Oh, where's me? See, this is why we rushed into it. Can you pass me that black book? Bless you.
For a bit of behind the scenes, ladies and gents, this is literally the second time we started the show.
Listen, he brought it up.
There was a 10-15 minute gap.
I saw some stuff online, and one of them, I like to give people a shout out that have done good stuff, and I don't often see good stuff on the internet, but this is people that have turned down the OBE. Okay. They've turned down the OBEs. We're talking about you losing your... Well, you haven't, but yeah.
Did I get an OBE?
No, but the doctor thing, we've dropped it
because how they do it. We bring people onto the podcast.
We did the show of calling you doctor.
Yeah, your career goes backwards very quick.
Yeah, it's nothing official, by the way, if anyone's listening. So Ken Loach, is it Ken Loach? Ken Loach, he turned it down. Cool. Some of the best film. He's a proper. He really is.
Some of his films are really excellent.
Some of them are great.
Have you ever watched The Wind That Shakes the Barley?
No.
It's a really seldom seen film, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's about
what's his socialese?
So it's set during the early days of the Irish Civil War.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not an enjoyable. I mean, it's not a happy.
My friend's dad is my friend's grandfather was executed at the beginning of that movie.
Oh, blimey!
Yes, because it was the
is he Mihail then?
No,
spoilers.
What?
I'm not going to say his name, but like he was one of the it was the Easter Uprising, and he was,
okay.
He was one of the Easter Uprising, and he was so badly wounded. He was one of the people when they took him out the back to shoot him.
You mean in reality?
Stand. Yeah,
I thought you meant in the film. Like
no,
he
it was portrayed at the beginning,
right?
Literally.
Okay.
And there's a bit because you know who he is because he was so badly wounded he couldn't stand for the firing squad, so they just strapped him down to a chair.
Isn't that Rebel Heart, the TV show? Isn't it?
No, it's something. I swear that's that film.
No, I think that's Rebel because now you say that rings about. Anyhow, sorry, it was just
right, okay. But yeah, Ken Loach, so he's turned down.
And what was it? What was his rationale? Everybody has their own reasons.
I think because his is social. It was a social documentation that he said it would be wrong to because he's very much not against the government.
Well,
but
he's a socialist. He's a real sort of
he says the injustice is.
I would assume
like
he's anti-monarchist or he's Republican, I suppose, rather than.
Manali said that I should have written down the reasons why.
I mean,
so Danny Boyle, he's also turned one down.
Okay, that's surprising.
He is the director of 28 Days Later.
Yeah, but
one of the greatest films of all time.
And I managed to slip in 28 Days Later.
He's there. He was there.
I think it's every show.
I was happy to see him pop up. I thought, good. So, two that I was surprised, but French and Saunders turned it down, which I was surprised
Fight
by.
the power. Love it.
Nigella Lawson,
cool.
She turned it down.
Nigella, that surprises me.
Because she's quite of that stock, isn't she? Oh, I don't know.
I think she likes her publicity. She likes her adulation. Well, what'd she say?
I don't know.
Again, it's a good business move, at least. You know what I mean? Because
she's getting
she's a lot on her
brand.
brand.
Not doing it.
You know,
yeah.
Stephen Hawkins turned it down.
Player.
Now I remember because it was because there was something to do with the lack of British investment in science that he was trying to pump through, and they said no. So he turned it down.
He's an absolute baller. Like,
it's quite cool. Like it's a proper
crazy, crazy. Women couldn't keep their hands off him.
Alan Bennett, he turned it down, which I'm surprised by. Ronald Dahl in the time he turned his one down.
The Giant Peach.
Yeah.
I think he's borderline. He's approaching cancellation.
Yeah.
It's only because he's dead and
can't fight back.
Yeah.
John Lennon turned his down. Fair enough.
That's not surprising.
Rudyard Kipling turned his down.
That one is
really surprising.
Yeah.
Do we know what he
said?
No,
I should have written down.
What do you think? Why?
Because he has an interesting character arc because he was very pro. You know, born in India, very pro-empire, very pro-imperialism and British values.
It's guilt then.
And then that kind of all fell apart when his son was killed.
In what battle?
In the First World War.
Okay.
And he became very disillusioned after that. And his son, I think he was 6. I think he was 15. He was under the age, and he pulled some strings and he got him in. And he was just a kid. He was an officer as well. I think he'd gone to be a captain or
Just
something.
gone in pure propaganda.
Because he believed
battle.
in, he believed in the
Yeah.
war, and he believed in Britain and the moral imperative, the moral superiority of Britain, and he utterly just destroyed him. And they, apparently in his house, he does have a house, and you can go visit it. And there is a shrine in one of the rooms to his son.
Oh, in the wrong.
Because he pushed to get him sent.
Yeah. Oh right, because
so
technically
he pulled the
feels.
strings. It wasn't. I thought because sometimes you hear these stories about the kid.
Yeah.
Sneaking
Well, he
off
wanted to go. I mean,
Yeah, but it's pure propaganda. You've been lied to. Well, it's normal.
So yeah.
So maybe,
regardless
yeah.
of what you think of him, his politics. He has sort of
Yeah,
And the
actually,
last-
I didn't know that.
The last one was L.S. Lowry, the painter. He turned his one down as
I
well.
don't know Ellis Lowry. What kind
Lowry.
Oh, Lowry.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
kind
The
of
sort of
painter?
stick men. That's his famous. He's matchstick men kind of drawings.
He's a famous English artist. He's not. He's considered he's not considered high art.
I was going to say stick figures. I mean, I don't think even. I mean, I'm the worst artist ever, but
It's sort of lives and work. It's sort of working lives and average scenes of cities and day-to-day life.
so is it like satire, political statement?
No, it's more.
It's just not
more
very
to-
deep.
to represent.
It's not artistic like techniques. It's quite simple.
But it was the fact it was representing ordinary working life rather than his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Marquis of wherever the fuck. You
He's
know.
like a shit constable, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. Well, anyway, and as I was looking,
Constable did stick figures. Probably not even in his initial sketches.
so and while I was looking at that, something else popped up that just made me laugh. So someone called Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran,
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran, the singer.
I didn't see what he was. I thought he was a footballer or an actor or something.
He's
Well, I don't know what he was.
possibly one of the.
He looked like
even I know
he
who
looked
Ed
like
Sheeran is.
he looked like the thing in the Rugrats. What's the
Thing.
the ginger one?
He looks like.
Which is part of the story. actually.
If you have he looks like Boris Johnson's twin, but like in a twin scenario where like one of them got a bit more of like the good stuff,
Yeah,
and then one of
yeah.
them got like was
but
a bit
who in
more
that
anemic.
scenario?
Yeah, it's not a good. Yeah,
Who's more healthy, Ed Sheeran or? Boris
no,
Johnson?
he's not. He did not that bad. I don't have it going, but it was just celebrity, right? So
something like that.
the headline was like the South Park joke. So this is what it was. It's not me saying this. South Park joke about ginger hair. Quote: "Fucking ruined my life."
Oh, because it's the thing that ginger people don't have souls.
Yeah, but the thing was, because obviously it was the South Park episode about ginger. He said, but in America they don't have the same stigma and jokes as we do here. So people, they thought it was quite quirky when he'd go over there. They'd say, "Oh, like," but then when the South Park episode come out, we're saying, what was it?
It's that ginger people don't have souls.
Yeah, it's like they were really outcast. So he said now everyone takes the piss. So the quote was, the joke, South Park joke about my ginger hair fucking ruined my life. I thought, oh, that's quite maybe like severe bullying.
I think it was specifically directed at him.
No,
That
but it was the
seems
fact that it was quite
a deep wound there.
No, people liked it, and now they were mocking him for it. Not mocking him, but now he's lost the thing that he used to have when he went to America, that he gets here all the time.
Got it.
But anyway, so all the article fucking ruined my life, blah, blah, blah. The article ended. Sheeran said that he's still a fan of the show and would love to voice a character one day. So the fucking ruined my life.
Yeah.
Just have some dignity. Like, celebrities, they couldn't care less. It's imagine saying, "You fucking ruined my life," and then say, "Oh, by the way, I would love to pop on the show if anything comes up."
I mean, that's what most of our guests say, frankly.
Yeah. But that was like, there you go, another little celebrity.
Also, Mick Jagger turned down
going back
turned
to
down
that.
knighthood several times.
Several times. Well, why would he get it offered the second time?
I think they have tried to. They
really wanted
They
him.
tried to. They sounded him out. I think a few times.
I wouldn't accept one. Come on, make jokes.
No, I
You
wouldn't.
don't
I,
need
to. That's
I've
beyond
decided.
satire.
I have decided that I would not accept one because
Tell us why, yeah.
Yeah.
because I don't believe in the sort of patronage
hierarchy,
system. Yeah, I just. I know that it's supposed to be a sort of pat on the head and well done for services
It's
to.
a gold star on your forehead writ large.
Do you get anything for it? Is it just, do you get into places or you have to queue up in Tesco's or anything? Sorry, I mean Marks and Spencer's.
There's definitely an OBE fast track line. You have a card. You
Well, it's got to come with something, surely not just...
Well, in immigration, they have, EU, non-EU, and then OBE line, So,
do you get anything? Is it?
it's one of these things. I suspect
It's just status. That is
it's
it.
status and prestige. And when with some things, I can see people accept it for business reasons. You know what I mean? Because it's sort of it gets you indoors, it gets you through doors, and sort of makes you seem a bit more respectable.
Part of your PR.
And, and as I said, it's rewards for good work supposedly, but I just think all
What's
that
the
stuff's
actual title? Is it
Sir.
Sir?
Do you become a sir?
OBE. No,
No? Oh,
it's
it's not.
knighthoods you do, but
Oh, okay.
So is this
Yeah,
below?
it's-
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
because there's OBEs and CBEs and
Right, yeah.
my great grandfather got an OBE actually.
Oh, for what?
For if he's worked during the war, he worked on Marconi, which was the radar, sorry, and then after that he volunteered to. After the war, he volunteered to go out to Germany to defuse bombs. In the occupied Germany.
unexploded.
Yeah, unexploded.
Yeah. All right. So that's deserved.
Yeah,
I mean,
so he won an OBE for that. It was pretty cool.
well, as an American, I have to say this whole OBE, CBE, I don't understand how all the letters work, but these awards for actually doing something that's of service to the state makes a lot more sense than the way that, as I understand it, you can actually purchase a title. You can buy like a 3 meter square bit of land.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a kind of
Baron
joke,
of whatever, isn't it?
It's but
Well,
but it
goes
is
to show
literally
you
a joke. It's
how,
not real.
But people do it. Somebody actually bought my house in the United States with a title that he inherited from his father. He purchased.
Because you can say, look, you can buy Lord, can't you?
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
you wouldn't be-
He is the second Earl of whatever. I don't know what it is, but it's the higher the number, the deeper the pedigree goes, right? So the first or second Lord of whatever it is got it pretty recently, and so apparently his father bought his little patch of land. I mean, it might be big enough to stand on. I'm not sure.
What's the billionaire who owns LinkedIn or whatever?
That's pathetic.
What's his name?
It's a bit. Yeah, you've got to win them in battle. Come on.
He sounds like a... What's the... Oh, bloody hell. He sounds like a cake.
Sounds like a cake.
LinkedIn sounds like a cake.
Yeah, Eton
Close.
Mess.
Elon Musk.
That's it, yeah. Eton, yeah.
Does he own
But
I
I
don't
love
think-
Eaton Mess. That makes me sad to connect that crazy guy.
What is he owns LinkedIn or something?
PayPal.
He owns PayPal.
yeah.
What's his
Elon
name?
Musk.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Isn't he Tesla? No.
Tesla
Yeah.
and SpaceX.
And
PayPal that got him
SpaceX.
rich.
SpaceX.
Yeah, but yeah, PayPal
Right,
was
isn't his kid
big
like
person.
they've named it an equation?
Yeah.
Yeah, something or other like that.
Just pure vanity, that is.
Yeah.
It's
Absolute
to really make
vanity.
that kid's life so easy from day one.
But it's the thing of using a kid as a
bullying.
trinket. Like it makes gives me a little article to...
Yeah, but there's loads of people who do that. They Moon Unit.
What did you
Alpha.
send me the other day?
Moon Unit Alpha. That's a name I haven't heard for a while. Yeah.
What did you send me the other day that scarred me? You sent me two. I'm not going to the first one 'cause it's too deep, the cut. This last one you sent me.
I can't remember what the thing. Oh, it was. I'm going to have to. Pull my phone out.
Well, it's no joke because I always think these things are a joke until you look into
Oh, was it the body?
the body.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't send him a picture of my
In
body
America.
for avoidance
What
of
the-
doubt.
In America, this guy got shot, just some street gang thing.
No, he was a rapper. He was
Oh, a rapper.
But it might have been gang related.
And they had a sort of, what would they call it?
A wake.
A wake, a musical wake with like in a club. They had his body in there, up, dressed, held up,
What?
dead.
So a kind of Weekend at Bernie's kind of
I
scenario.
don't know what that is.
basically, yeah.
Like that,
But
that's where they hook the
the-
dead guy up like a puppet.
Well, the
and
decks are there, and there he is in the corner, a dead body with all the his
Upright.
rocks on. Yeah, upright,
Propped
hang
up.
down. Yeah, like that, with his
Sounds
rocks
really
and all that.
cheerful.
And it made me laugh because I read it, and the guy said, "As long as his mum's happy, that's all that matters."
Wow.
Oh yeah, I did speak to you about it, but I thought that's not real, and then I looked at, and they said people thought it was a dummy or something. They didn't know that was the body, and when you see it, it looks like a dead body, like it's come out the morgue. It looks quite pasty.
Well, all right. Okay, I
Think
agree.
of a
That's really
dead
creepy.
body in
But,
a club.
but is it but how different is it really than a traditional open casket Catholic
Yeah.
wake when
Yeah.
the
No.
body's laid out?
It's in a
it happens to be
nightclub.
lying down, which looks a little more natural.
But I was just
given
thinking,
the state of the body.
health-wise, is
But
that
yeah,
good to have?
Irish wakes. The Irish wakes. Sometimes they get them out. They literally they have an open casket and literally in the pub. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And then sometimes they get the body out.
But also,
do
in some
something.
cultures, there are things where you exhume the body and have it come and sit with you.
Yeah.
The wake was actually to do with the alcohol content. People used to just drink alcohol at that time, and it was actually because people would wake up. So the wake was you'd have the body just to make sure it's dead. That everyone
Yeah.
could see they're dead, because they would get alcohol poisoning, then wake up like 2 days later because you thought, because I didn't have medical things. So they 2 days later somebody pop up. I mean, I think that must have happened before it became a. But yeah, I remember when I grew up in Belfast. I remember being a kid and seeing a thing above my head in the living room, the bedroom, whatever you called it, with just people for like a couple of days, dead body. Didn't know there was a dead body in there. Just thought it was weird.
Yeah.
Just like a high coffee
Very
table.
tired. Very tired.
No, I couldn't see there was anything in there.
Yeah, when I was in India, the small shack where I lived, round the corner, they had like literally down the road, like really close.
Yeah.
They had like a funeral thing, and they used to burn bodies there, and like it was very sad because you see people there crying, but they have to be there all day because it takes a very long time. It takes
Oh, you have to see the thing.
8, 9, 10, 12 hours to burn a body, and you've got to make sure, and you've got to rake the ashes and stuff. And I had to walk past that loads, and it was
Right, yeah, if you're not used to it.
pretty weird. Yeah.
Right, so there's something I've been saving with you that for years, since you first told us about it, you know what this is, that I've never bought it. I was going to do it the Christmas
What,
one.
Batman?
No, the Nazi.
Yeah, Batman.
Oh, where's the Batman coming
Or
in?
Gandalf.
Oh, you can
Yeah,
say,
different
right.
nicknames,
No,
don't
Yeah,
no,
different names. Yeah.
So, because you told us the story once, so I want you to tell us the greatest story ever told. That he just randomly told us once, and I thought, right, I'm saving that one more time. I want to
You
hear
want me
that.
to
And
do it now?
it's years ago.
It's quite elaborate.
It's take us
I
back.
want to hear it.
Yeah, so take us back, Charles. You're a philosophy student. You've left. You don't know what to do with yourself.
No.
Oh, right. So
I was a young man, and I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
And
Hang on, let me just get comfortable.
carefree, and I was in between. I was about to start my degree course, my first stab at trying to do a degree. Long story, I won't go into that. Took me a couple of goes. And yes, for some reason, I decided to go off to do a gap year in India for 5 months, staying and teaching and working in a Buddhist monastery.
Very well done. Nice.
They had a list of projects that I could sort of volunteer for, and that sort of stood out. And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty crazy. And I didn't really know anything, but it was where the exiled Tibetan government. It was the sort of seat of the Tibetan government. It's where the Dalai Lama is in exile, lives and in exile. It's his official residence there, just down the road.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, yeah, basically they stuck me in a weird shack next to this Buddhist monastery. Beautiful place, very nice, very tranquil. Halfway down this village, and there's one path up that had like 180 steps, and it was about 1,800, 1,700, 1,800 meters up. So it's a real bitch to get up. And it was covered in monkeys as well. He used to attack me.
Covered in monkeys. A more nicer way of putting it. I don't know why that's the wrong statement.
It's just covered in monkeys. The path is just covered in monkeys. And I used to get like chased and stuff. It's weird.
Food? Did you bring food to
No.
ward them off, or would that have made more monkeys come?
They just did not like me. They seemed to be chilled with everyone else, and I'd be like, afternoon, could I please get past? And that used to be,
monkeys.
Just take your hat off as polite.
good day, sir. And like they went just go mad and attack me. But anyway, yes,
So strange.
the focus of this story is that I was living in a small shack, surrounded by two Tibetan dudes and a German man. One of the Tibetan men, he was getting me to teach him English so that he could write letters to ladies in England and America, asking them to send him money.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Because they were
Very
like,
Buddhist of him.
yeah, and like I was translating these letters, they were sending him as well, and they were all like, "Oh wow, you're so cool and you're so spiritual."
Was he lying in it? Were you having to tell lies?
No, they seemed quite. They seemed quite.
Well, did
Okay.
you say the money was to support the furtherance of his spiritual growth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose there's nothing wrong with that if he's being open.
Yeah,
Yeah, Van Gogh used to do the same thing.
I mean, like hell, he was getting correspondence, and these
Okay.
women seemed to really like him.
Yeah.
I don't know, he was just some lanky Tibetan dude. But
Okay.
Hey, and then there was a drunk guy opposite, and he used to drink every night and just get wasted on whiskey and like talk to himself and cackle.
Yeah.
He also used to compare himself a lot to David Beckham, which was slightly odd. He was in his 60s, by the way.
What's he doing there?
He was, I don't know.
Aren't you all teaching English?
No, these two were living there. I don't know what he was doing. he used to hang out with some of the monks, but yeah, he used to get so wasted he used to like pass out outside sometimes.
Again, like the Buddha would want.
yeah.
Very spiritual,
Yeah.
deep, wonderful people, very spiritual.
So one's committing dating fraud, the other's an alcoholic.
You're chronic alcoholic.
Oh, right.
The real gem
Yeah.
was the German chap who
Right,
lived
here we
next
go.
door.
Yeah.
And he was, this was all flavour up till now.
Yeah.
He was,
Is this the main course?
yeah. You had your appetizer. Let's get on to the German.
he was a man who would dress in a Buddhist robe. So he dressed in the saffron robes, and he would not go to so he presented as a Buddhist monk, but he would not go to the ceremonies because he wouldn't go to temple. Because I worked out, he said he didn't speak Tibetan,
Right.
which is a bit of a thing
Yeah.
when you're staying in a
What is
Tibetan
he? What's
monastery.
his purpose being? Is it a retreat for him, or is he doing something there?
I think it was to hunt the most dangerous game of all, to be honest.
Okay, right. Go on. Go on.
in hindsight.
Monkeys.
Yeah. I wouldn't have minded if he just stuck to the monkeys.
Right, so go on.
But yeah, so I sort of started up a not friendship, interaction, scary interaction with this chap. He would often he had like a really big sound system. I don't know where the hell he got it from.
Yeah.
And he had like one CD, and it was TV things,
Bloody hell.
mostly from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Like theme songs from television.
Theme songs from
like
television. So he
the Miami Vice theme
Miami
song.
Vice, Airwolf,
Oh, wow.
Knight Rider.
18,
He loved
yeah. We'll be here all day.
18.
We'll be here all day.
Loved
Go on.
Voyager. He loved Star Trek Voyager.
Right,
The
okay.
theme. It's nice
That's some
enough.
fine musical taste.
Yeah.
It's nice enough, but like he just used to play that in a loop because it's about 40-minute CD. He's playing that in a loop all day, every day. He would, but it was the weapons that really started to. He had a small arsenal in his room, and
Don't
I,
edit. It's
I
just-
started to because I sort of chilled with him a little bit here and there, and like I went to his room and he's like, "Oh hi, yeah, I don't know. My name's whatever, Heinrich or whatever the hell it was. I don't know." And like, he's like, "Oh yeah, here's the garlic to keep Dracula away." And I was like, yeah. And he goes, "Oh, and here's thing. Oh yeah, and also you can call me Gandalf." And I was like, "Do I have to?" And he's like, "No, not at all." He goes, "You can call me Batman if you want."
Did you think he
And
was
I was
joking?
like-
Or did he come across as...
He was a man who did not joke.
Oh, right.
There was no humor or
So all
lightness in him. He's like,
sincerity was...
he goes, "You can call me Gandalf."
Oh, God.
And I was like, "Do I have to?" And he goes, "You can call me.
have to?
You can call me Batman."
Right.
And he had all these bat symbols, and he
Oh,
goes,
right.
"Because sometimes I'm Batman." And I'm like,
Yeah.
but most of the time you're not, though. Yeah, yeah. I was just like, okay. And then I noticed he had lots of weapons, and I'm talking about samurai swords. He had about 2 or 3 samurai swords, like 2 bows and arrows, but like the sort of
The crossbow?
sport. No, but like a sports one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Not very on brand for Batman, is it?
More Robin Hood.
Hawkeye, maybe. He probably would have been Hawkeye nowadays. You know what I mean? But back in the day,
It's a proper like hunting crossbows, like a proper...
well, there's bow and arrow and stuff.
Oh, bow and arrow.
And he had, he pulled out his samurai sword and started going, and like doing all that. And then I noticed, he's like, "Oh, yeah.
That's not I said Bandolf. I combined them. Sorry, that's neither Batman nor Gandalf. I don't get it.
Might be another character
He-
in
he
his head.
didn't-
But yeah, he had blood all over those swords.
Blood.
And yeah, dry blood. And he's like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "Oh, yeah, it's dry blood. Yeah." Thought it's funny.
And you didn't leave it, and you kept going back.
There are
I'm-
many
I'm still- wait,
stories where
wait,
Charles
wait. This
just sits
was-
there while crimes happen to him.
This was over a period of a few months, and
Right, okay.
and he would often practice his nunchucks outside because I would have to get. He would do because like it got to a bad point where I was starting to get really scared of him.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the transition
wait.
from this guy has a blood on his sword?
Fascination to
Is when he
maybe
dropped
I
the
should not
nunchucks.
come back.
Well, first off, I was like, okay, this guy's nuts, and like, but then I was like, he's not too dangerous, and then I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, there is danger here, and I'm sensing.
And then he
danger.
busted out the nunchucks.
He used to bust out the nunchucks a lot. There was a crack in the door, right, a little tiny crack, and I could see. And like, he used to like just peer through this tiny crack just to like have a look, see if he was out there. To go to the
scenario,
loo.
you're the criminal then, because you're the peeping Tom.
Oh no, you used to peer to see if he was out there.
See if he was out there, so I could go
right,
to the toilet.
okay.
So you're peeping from the inside out.
Yeah,
thought you were, like, peering into
no,
his
it was
room.
like a no. I was peeking out
Is he
my
out
door.
there?
Yeah, because he was practicing his nunchucks and he would never stop. He was just like, I'd be like, oh, sorry, mate, excuse me, can I just go to the loo? Because you're right in front of the toilet. Yeah. Can I just, sorry, excuse me. And like he'd just see me and just go,
Jesus.
and like, and I'd be like, okay, terribly sorry, excuse, terribly sorry, I just really need to go. And this is, I remember it got particularly bad when I had dysentery as well, and I was going to the toilet about 20 times plus a day, and he was still doing it. So yes, he had lots of weapons, had lots of stuff. Wanted to be Batman, wanted to be Gandalf.
Yeah.
Who knew? But then he, there was one night that was particularly, red flag kind of night, and that was when he showed me his pictures, and he was one of these guys who had about, like the Joker, he had about 3 or 4 backstories.
Oh, yeah.
Different backstories. He's like
Different directors.
Yeah, he was just like, hey, he's like, oh, I was a Buddhist monk in Germany, and like I was targeted by neo-Nazi snipers, and they shot my best friend in a park.
Okay. Why did they shoot his friend? What was his explanation?
Because they were neo-Nazis.
All right.
They don't like Buddhists.
Apparently. Yeah, they've
don't
got
like
real
anybody.
gripe
No.
against the
Don't like
Buddhists.
anybody.
Yeah.
So what was in his book then?
Okay, but so he's one of those guys who had loads of things, and he showed me lots of pictures, and he goes, oh, that's my wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, very nice, very, well done, very congratulations, yeah, well done. And he goes, oh, and that's also my wife.
Right.
Was this just a magazine? Of,
It
like,
wasn't a-
Hello
It was
magazine?
pictures from a magazine, yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, and that's my wife and child. This is a different woman, but that's my wife and child. And I'm like, okay. And then he told me that he was a bodyguard, and he used to carry a gun, and he shot someone. He also told me that he was a trainer for the army. He was in the army a lot, in and out, and they'd sometimes call him back because he was like
Commando.
like Steven Seagal, like he was just like
Another mission they
Germany's top like special forces
Top guy
So
with
they,
a samurai sword.
they had to keep calling him back in, you know what I mean? He's like, I can imagine him like sort of commando when he's out chopping logs, and they go, we need you for one last job, Heinrich. He's like, I'm not
That's
going.
the problem.
I'm not
You don't
going
nip
back.
lies in the bud.
He
It
said,
just
call
gets
me
worse.
Gandalf and I'll be there in a second.
Well, you can't. What do you say to a guy like that? I mean, what do you say? Like he just.
As little as necessary.
I was just fascinated, to be honest, because I was like, this is great. I'm gonna record. I was like, flick to record.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have as much contact with this dude as possible. Bad idea, by the way. But like at the time, I thought it was funny. And I thought, this is great material, man. This is wild stuff. But yeah, so he's flicking through his book, and he was showing me all these pictures cut out from magazines of people in his life that weren't really there. And then we were chatting, and I was like, okay, yeah. And then he it was all in a big binder with, plastic things, and, and then he started flicking through. And then after a bit, towards the back, I started noticing some historical photos, some black and white older photos of historical figures that I'd recognized. And it was the German High Command.
All right.
The Nazi High Command. And there was pictures of, Himmler and Goering and Hitler.
I mean, I wasn't not expecting that.
Yakking it up, having a great time, laughing, It was Adolf and Eva in the Birches garden, having a wonderful time. It's like springtime for Hitler kind of vibes, And I was just like, and he was talking, and I remember I looked down and I noticed that those pictures of Nazis, and then also pictures of mass graves and SS officers standing over it. And I was just like, and I remember he looked down, he was talking, and he looked down and he saw the picture, and it was literally, he honest to God stopped on like a picture of like all of them. It's Hitler with his hand on going, so I was like,
yeah.
And he sort of stopped and he looked, and I was looking at it, and he looked at it, and I looked at him, and he looked at me.
And then you kissed.
And we shared this moment. We shared a really long pause. He stopped talking, and he just stared.
He come towards you with his lips up.
Stared at me like
Oh,
this.
gross. I'm going to throw up. No. Stop.
This is the edited version. Right.
Afterwards, once you put your clothes back on, what happened?
Yeah.
Yes, but he just went. He looked at it. We made eye contact. It became awkward and weird, even weirder. It somehow managed to get weirder, right? And he very slowly closed the book,
No comment.
while maintaining intense, crazy eye contact. Right. And I was just like, God, he's gonna kill me. He's gonna murder me and leave me out in a shallow grave. Like, and I'm like, I don't know where the hell I am. You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna come. Like, no one's. And he just said, I think you better leave now.
Oh, Jesus.
And I went, yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah. I was like, right, night.
So what happened after that? The days following, did you leave? Were you left for long afterwards?
Oh, he was there for like months. I sort of came in and out. 'Cause occasionally, I sort of went off for 2 weeks or
Okay.
like with some mates and like.
Maybe like you said, every now and again you Google Buddhist monk.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that
Nazis.
was the thing. No,
Just to see.
but the caveat. I mean, this is a true story because it doesn't really have a proper ending.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But like, it was. He said, okay. I remember like towards the end of my stay there, he was like, yeah, I'm going. He goes, I'm going off to the woods for a few weeks, and I was like, yeah, that's great. I was like, brilliant. Take as long as you need. Just go out. Yeah. But why not a month? Why not 2 months? It's like, just fill your boot. Just go anywhere but here, basically. And he's just like, I would take my weapons with me as well. I was like, good. Yes, obviously, good. Yes, you don't want to go out. Don't want to go out in the woods without your samurai swords, and your nunchucks. I mean, you're handy with them, I can see. But so he disappeared, and I was like, thank fuck. I was like, oh my God. And it was like a huge weight being lifted off, and I was like, but I was still slightly
You could
scared.
go to the loo unencumbered.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to.
But I was still slightly scared he was going to come back. You know what I mean? Or just start.
He was in your nightmares now by this point.
I assumed he was living feral in the woods. Yeah. That was my assumption. And he always said that there was like a panther. He goes, don't go into the woods. There is panther out there. And I'm like, no, there's not. It's like, bro, there's not. Mate. And I was like, what's the panther going to do? I was 19. So
What's the panther going to do?
I was like, panther comes up, I'm going to punch it in the face. Yeah, I'll knock it out. You know, I was like, I don't care. I'll give it a kick.
Just a cat.
Yeah, whatever, you know. But then, about 2 or 3 weeks later, this German girl turned up, and she was like, I mean, he's like 50 odd, you know, 45, 50. He seemed, I was 19, so he seemed old, you know.
Right, yeah.
And this German girl turned up, and she was about 23 or 24, you know. She's young, yeah, a lot younger. And she goes, hi, is Heinrich here? And I was like, who? And she goes, Batman. I was like, oh, yeah.
No.
I was like, yeah, he lives next door.
She knew you'd been through the story with him.
No, yeah, she obviously knew it. I was like, oh, yeah, no, he's next door. Yeah. He goes, oh, where's he gone? Oh, I don't know. He went off to the woods. And she's like, what?
Oh, no. You let him out?
Yeah. And she's like, oh my, what? Did he take any weapons? And I'm like,
no.
Yeah, I think he took everything in there. She's like, oh my, what? And you let him? You just let him go? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, damn straight. I let him go. I don't want. Yeah, I was happy to see the back.
Carried him out there.
Yeah. I was like, I was told it. Yeah, Tom, take as long as he needs. Yeah. And I didn't want him around. And she's like, oh my god. Where do you think he's gone? Where do you think he's gone? Oh,
you were like the jungle?
I was just like anywhere. It was halfway up a mountain. I don't know where. But like, she's like, did he say any details of where he went? You know, did he say anything? Did he mention a name or anything? And I was like, no. I was like, honestly, I was just happy to see the back of it. And she's just like, oh, this is terrible. Oh my god. I need to call people. I need to contact. I need to tell someone. And she just like ran off.
Did you hear anything about it?
No.
Did she explain who she was?
No.
Oh, okay.
She obviously knew him. She said Batman. She's like Gandalf. And I was
You've
like,
been trying to find him down since he escaped from the institution. That sort of
She's
thing.
probably still in the woods there.
I occasionally try and Google fake Buddhist monk Gandalf Tibetan monastery India and like
crashes the algorithm.
And just
like,
zero. It's surprisingly zero results.
Do you think he must have been on the run for something? Like maybe he was mad and the family members were trying.
Maybe he was mad.
No, but you know what I
Every
mean.
time he goes into the woods, bad things happen, and
So yeah, it must be something. He's obviously
people disappear.
I mean, he's obviously mental, but like,
Yeah, I mean,
but I mean, he might have been on the run for like a mental place. But it's family, so you assume maybe he was
maybe he might have been on some kind of like
kept medication.
health and well-being kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
he was sort of, hey, maybe I'll go for India for a few months and go to a Buddhist monastery, clear my head, you know, chill out. bring all my samurai swords and.
You're going to go up to a place where you don't want to carry too much luggage. You're not going to need. But he thought that was
essential.
How did he get all his stuff through customs? Was it a bit lax?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe if you put it in the hold. My aunt was on.
Well, when was it? This was before things were so strict.
Hang on, we were talking about weapons. You said my aunt. What was that? What did you
No, I'd say my aunt was on a flight once. This was pre 9/11, but like some guy, it was honestly a big Texan dude, huge hat, and he was getting on with his 2 6-shooters.
Oh right.
This is a flight from Heathrow, and he's like, I'm not putting them in the hold.
Oh,
they're like they're collectibles, say designer, but like they're
Design.
they're
Designer
they're
gun.
designer
Diamante.
6-shooters. And he's just like, I'm not putting them in a hold. And they're like, dude, you can't. It's like Heathrow, you can't take 2 revolvers on the goddamn flight, mate. In fact, even in America, I'm sure you can take 2.
Yeah.
And but he kicked up such a fuss that they just let him have it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe you have to put the bullets in the
Well, he
holes.
probably bought them at Walmart anyway. You can, I think Walmart has finally stopped that practice, but you used to be able to buy guns at Walmart in many states.
Yeah.
Did they
great.
clamp down recently in America with all the gun laws? It's just not happened.
It's state by state. There's no federal.
Yeah, because
guidance.
some are
That's-
open carry, aren't
That's
they?
the thing. Yeah.
So I knew somebody in America, and they said they went to work. They're only there temporarily, and it had on the wall, "Please don't display your guns," like in the like an office block. Think of that.
It is. It's a very different mentality. I remember seeing armed police around. Like when I used to go to Europe or whatever. And again, when I was a younger man, you go to wherever, Belgium or France, whatever, and everyone has a pistol on their waist. And I was like, I don't like that at all. No.
I had a police car behind
Maybe
me.
you see them in your high school class the whole way. So there you go. It's excellent.
Different. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. I was driving just yesterday or the day before, and I looked. I could see some like blue lights behind me, not on. I was like, oh bloody hell!
So you floored it.
No, yeah. I started throwing.
I'm going
put
to
them
jail,
down.
man. I'm not going to jail.
And it was only on the second look I realised it was one of them old American police cars. But the brain, it took a second to realise it looked like something out of NYPD Blues from like the 80s, with the bull
Well,
bars
like a
on the front.
bluesmobile,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because there's a filming place just up the road from me. But I looked, and I just thought, oh, bugger, and I looked again. And it took me a second to go, oh no, it's not. It's from the 80s. But it's so funny when you see them, like they look great because it's got the big balls on the floor because they can just knock cars over. We're not allowed to do that here. But I thought, it'd be great to have them back. Do you remember? No, it's not my stories about being chased by police cars. It'd be too personal. But I was just going to say the type of cars I've been chased by, police cars.
You can't give us blue balls, but like that.
Do you remember the big Rovers? The big Rover V8s. See, it's not going to make any the police cars, the big heavy ones. Yeah, so there you go. Got nothing. I remember when what was the bomb that went off in London? In the
Which
King's Cross,
one?
Which one?
Which
Come on.
the buses. You know when the bus went blew up in the car?
when it was
9.
2006.
Yeah, what was the number we give it?
7-7.
Seven.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it was 7/5. 2005.
Was that?
I'm pretty sure it was 2005.
But it was 7th of July.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah,
But I remember.
Oh,
and
you're right, 7/7, 2005. That's where I got the
I remember seeing it, and it had like all the police cars in central London,
because I was here then.
and there was about 8 Land Rovers, and I thought they're $100,000 a piece, and that's obviously like the inspectors are driving them, and it's in central London. It's not out in Essex or Hampshire, so you're driving £100,000 cars each. So there's £500,000 worth of car that you don't need. I was just thinking the money that costs, just you lot, that you few people there, that's £500,000 worth of cars in central London. Talk about waste. Like that's the.
But how are we going to fight terrorism
It's like
if they
landing
don't have a nice car?
I know, but that's how ridiculous. You might as well just land
You have to
helicopters
be
and
comfortable in those long stakeouts.
Exactly.
4x4s in King's Cross, and 4 of them. God knows how many they have.
Chelsea tractors. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's such an ostentatious
That's
device.
what I'm saying. It makes sense when I see a farmer like around me driving, rattling about across a field in a knackered Land Rover. I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes absolute sense. It's a working car and he's using it. But when dudes are driving around to Tesco car parks, all right.
Oh yeah. So talking about crimes, the slap that we wanted to go back to.
Oh, yeah.
You said there'd been an update. What was it?
He's been banned from the academy for 10 years.
Have they taken his award back?
No.
Oh well.
Well, actually, I think he retired
Yeah, he
voluntarily
resigned,
from the
didn't he?
academy. He can't go to the awards ceremony for 10 years.
But see, what are you gonna? What do you get from being there? It's not. That's not a crime is.
I don't know.
What about the crime?
These people live to be looked at, photographed, and seen. So I actually think that there is some cost to him, but I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares at all.
But I think if you've slapped someone and Chris Rock says, no, I don't want to press charges, the police should go, no, we've just seen a crime happen. It doesn't matter that you don't want to press charges. We've seen it. We've seen the thing. It'd be different if it had to be an investigation.
Fair enough. I mean, it wasn't in a back room.
Yeah,
it was in front of a billion people.
That's the thing. I mean, if a policeman walks past you and you're smoking a joint, like, they'll go, oi, you know, and you'll get nabbed for that. There's no victim there, except for yourself, maybe.
But if there's a crime and the person said, I don't want to investigate, there's nothing that you can do. But if it's recorded there, what other crime could you not do on camera and say, well, that he doesn't want to press charges? You go,
well, you know, I think it's more than just the fact that it was a physical assault. I think it sets a precedent that you can get away with bad behavior. It's kind of the whole
As I said, just
Trump-era
note
America.
that as another level we've gone down to now.
I couldn't agree more. And
so when it
I
happens,
think,
someone else wants, because it will happen.
Yeah.
Some idiot now will go, do you know what I'm going to do?
he got
Next
away with
thing,
it.
I'm going to throw a shoe at someone and I'm going to do something. I'm going to run on naked
well, it's
because
just
look
other
what
people
happened.
have wanted to do it, but they've kept it under wraps. It's like a lot of the really ugly political rhetoric that's just freely spouted in the United States now. And it's truly.
We spoke about earlier when I was saying I listened to his
Open and
autobiography, talking about how he really believed in marriage, and Jada Smith was literally crying on her wedding day because she didn't want to go through with it.
Was she? Oh.
Actually in tears, yeah. Huh. And so when this thing popped up, I was looking at it.
Wait, sorry, she didn't want to go.
So why did she?
Yeah.
Did he have a gun? Speaking of guns, did he have one to her head?
No, she didn't. She come from sort of like, I don't know if it's polygamous, but she didn't believe in the tradition of a woman gets married to a man and that's your wife, and she didn't believe in that, not being with him or anything.
Monogamy kind of freaked her out.
Yeah, I think there's a blurring of lines of what is it the tradition? Is it that you own me or whatever? But she didn't want to do that single ceremony.
Yes, she didn't do the obey
I think
part
they
of
did
the
too.
vows.
Like, she went through with it in the end because he really does believe. Like, he is like as we said before, even as a teenager, he just loved marriage, have the kids. That's all I want. As a teen, like as a musician, he was thinking that, and she was like not against it, but she went with it. And but when I was looking at some of the videos of her and him, and because she'd had her own show where she spoke to him, there's a big show about she was embarrassing because when she came out and said, "Yeah, I was having an affair with her son's best friend who was 20, who was suffering with mental health problems at the time with drug addiction." She was 20, and it went on for 4 years. He didn't know about it.
What could go wrong with that?
Exactly. But if you watch it and the things he said, and you see his reaction, because she said, you know,
I'm sorry, she said
she called it our entanglement, the complications, and he was there going, yeah, complications, and laughing as if like it's okay. But you can see the tears in his eye, and but he's doing that thing that he says in his book. He said, everything about me is fake. Like, I'm scared. I'm not a thing. And he explains that I've always used laughter to buffer us. And he did it at that time because he just naturally was smiling about it when she was saying it. So I saw that, and I saw things she'd said before and I suddenly realised when I'd seen it and seen him, it's like a perfect model, like a template of an mentally abusive relationship, where she's done this terrible thing, having an affair with this kid, which is another thing. Then on various interviews that this thing was edited, she was saying that, you know, it's not my responsibility. My husband should know what I want and when I want it. And then when she's saying to him about why she did it and this thing, and, you know, we need to heal, and I need to things I have to get through, and he's going, and he's laughing. I thought, oh, he's really enabling her to do it, and she has never at one point actually apologized. Even to the point after it's all happened, she's still talking about her problem that she's not happy and she has to deal with and heal herself. I was thinking, she couldn't give two damns about... And the fact that she said it on a mainstream interview, like with the two of them around the table, and talking about the rumours and because she didn't believe in marriage. I was watching, I thought, at no point has she ever even apologised. And the whole way through it, he's laughing and the thing, knowing that what he feels about marriage, and he's sort of trying to make it okay for her. But that cold thing she's got of like, me, why I did it. And, you know, you're my husband. You're supposed to know when I'm that. And it's like that. I thought, that's an abusive relationship. That everything he does. And going down even to the slap incident, where he's laughing and he sees.
Just even announcing it publicly is abuse.
In an
I mean,
interview,
who
to
airs
sit
that
there
stuff?
and look at his eye, look at the glaze in his eyes when
Is
he's.
that a performance in some level? I don't know.
Well, she's a narcissist. She doesn't know.
Power thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
doesn't it seem that a little
So
bit?
going to the slap. So when he does slap, I think again, just to back it up, he sees she's unhappy, and then he has to now go and act how he thinks she wants her. So it's like a template of an mentally abusive relationship.
It was the look she gave him, and I thought, that's a look that he has probably had quite a lot. You know what I mean?
And also,
so when she sort of looked at him and just thought, you're not. It's just like you're nothing. You're not a man. You can't even protect your woman. Kind of thing. And like,
but when he's making a joke,
impression of Jada Pinkett.
no, that's no.
That's part joke, John Wayne, and part Jada Pinkett.
No, it was just like Gloria in Madagascar. She voiced Gloria, didn't she?
Oh,
I was feeling Gloria come through. Anyway, sorry.
She's been in
Not
a few
to
things. She's in
switch the track. I love that movie.
she's in Matrix as well. Matrix 2 or something.
Was she?
3.
2, 3, yeah.
And the new one.
And the new one.
I
Yeah.
only like the first one.
Everyone only.
I gotta say, it's kind of like the King of the Crystal Skull. It should never have been made. It ruined the Indiana Jones franchise.
But yeah, so that when he's so I'll tell you what, the look on her face when he's making the jokes, that sense of he's making a joke about me, and that sort of weird, because socially you would laugh anyway, even if somebody's mocking you, there's a sense of the social contract that we keep going about that you would sort of laugh even if you were being mildly offended, you would have to. But to have that sort of look on your face is like, I'm not going to laugh. I thought, you're an arrogant person, you're very bad.
Yeah, well, this is why I think it's such an interesting, fascinating little moment, because you got to really see inside this relationship, in this really dysfunctional relationship, and it's a really sort of, it was a public sort of moment, and I read a lot into it, and I read a lot into body language and the sort of things that I know about their past and their relationship and stuff. I read a lot in that. That's why I found it so interesting, so fascinating, because you really got to he really just exposed himself, really more than he probably, if he'd have stomped Chris Rock and accidentally called him dad, it couldn't have been any more revealing, you know what I mean? It was almost at that level, because the weird speech he gave afterwards where he was talking about family and patriarch and the father, and this father
makes you
this
do,
father, he protects his children, he protected
and
and in tears, and you're just like, oh my goodness, mate, you're having a breakdown.
But if you go and watch how she speaks about what happened with him and on other interviews, one of these women's shows where they sit around the table, she was the amount of me about something terrible that you have done, and always with that cold, no, nobody understands. You should have known what. It's not my responsibility to know you. You're supposed. Then you go the 20-year-old, your son, the same age as your son, who was staying with him because he had mental health, but he had addiction problems at the time. And he thought it was a one-off thing, and he only found out the show went on for 4 years. Think of that. And
she's mom of the year too.
But she was doing the whole
What year?
It was something I needed. There was things missing in me.
What's interesting is there is footage, and she went and she smiled. There was a big smile when she went up. So he slapped Chris Rock. She had a big smile. She smiled, right?
Yeah.
And then like Chris Rock later said, "Wow," he goes, "Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me," and she laughed loads.
I don't know how he didn't react to hit him back.
That was my thing. I was like, naturally. I mean, when people get, I'm not saying I'm big tough. I'm saying I'd have done a thing and jiu-jitsu'd him, and
That's what really happened to Heinrich, wasn't it? He went out into the woods and killed him.
Yeah, hunted him down. Well, he wanted a dangerous game. I am the most dangerous game.
But
Go one-on-one.
I suppose that it must have been the shock knowing that he's on camera. He's still partly being professional.
It's professional.
That's his thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
he goes, "Oh wow," because he's
because he has that moment of like, what do I do?
But
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
bleeped out because there's a several second delay. But apparently he did. It was on record that he
And the
said,
fact he slapped him as well a bit.
as opposed to punching him.
Yeah, it's a bit even more disrespectful.
Because it's like a
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
pimp slap.
So he's not getting.
almost like a seriously.
Did you say he's been sacked from the thing, or he's decided not to go back?
No, he was. He resigned from the academy. He resigned his academy membership.
Yeah.
But he's also now been banned from any academy events, including the Oscars, because they also have other events.
Is that it? Is that everything then?
That's everything so far. Yeah. I mean, they had a big meeting apparently. Funny enough, I wasn't invited, so I can't say definitely what happened. But they must have missed me off this year.
You had another Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. I was chatting with the BAFTAs instead.
You were recording a podcast. At the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
It's one of those things. It was like one of those teams meetings where you're invited to, and you just kind of go. But you keep it in the calendar, so
Exactly.
you appear
Ask me
busy
next year.
No, so you appear busy on the thing. So
Like,
like,
can we rearrange this Oscars meeting? No, so apparently they all had a big meeting, and it was, there were all sorts of things that they discussed, including revoking the Oscar.
But nothing major's happened. It's all socially.
yeah.
Well,
So that's it. The door's opening. Someone else knows now. I can be famous by going up until that stage.
Well, and apparently someone did say, well, why? I think it was Joe Rogan, he who shall not be named. He was saying that, why didn't security chuck him out after that?
Yeah, they asked him to leave.
Because they did, and this is the thing. So I was like, anywhere else you do that in any other,
you're out.
Like bounce coming up, mate, you're out.
Yeah.
Call the police unless you leave right now, or both. But apparently they did ask him to leave, and he said no.
No.
And then they let him get the
like,
award.
And I'm like, how? No,
Yeah.
that's not how that works.
But then to let him get the award, to go up and collect your award, was like, what?
Well, that's the thing. They obviously knew he won. I mean, because they're handing out the awards, they knew he'd won. So they must have the panic backstage.
But you just give it to somebody
like
else.
with the
They're like, what should we
organisers.
do? What
They're like, what the hell do we do
Does he
now?
know?
No.
No.
Well, that's it. But then give it to somebody else. They don't know any different. How does he just give
because
the
it's
awards?
been voted on by the Academy.
Oh, it's votes.
I mean,
It's-
I don't.
Well, give it
I
to
don't
the
know
next
if they had a
person.
runner up in mind. I mean, I get it.
It would have been hilarious. If he'd have got chucked out, Chris Rock should have accepted it on his behalf. That would have been
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
genius.
All they had to do, if this was about offence, and that, all they had to do was when they're making a joke, is if the two of them had got up and walked out, that would have been more of a slap to Chris Rock, just to get up and walk out and then talk about the other people. That
Well,
would
it
have
would have been a little more
not
classy.
shouting. Yeah, not shouting. That would have been more damaging
Makes a
to him.
huge statement.
Yeah.
But that's before he gets. Yeah, and I suppose. Well, that's before he's. But that's.
I'm
before
not sure
the
that's what
award.
he learned with his dad. So.
Do you know, talking about the slap in his book, in Will's book, it is sad because the first person he falls in love with, that when he's going on the rap thing and he's arguing with them as a young 20-year-old, get these girls out of here, I've just met someone, he's fell in love with her, and he goes back and he finds out she cheated on him. And he said that's broke him, like even as a young man, that broke him. And he said, he sort of to do the slap similar, that when he left, he said, I'm not a violent person, I'm not that sort of person. He said, but when I went out, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. He said, so on the way out, I picked stuff up, like out the house. He was like, you and this and that. He picked stuff up, and he said, I smashed it. And I thought, maybe I should be smashing more. And he picked them up to smash them, and smashed them again. He said, I'm not going to do it again because I might wake the grandmother. And he said, but I always thought, why did I do that? He said, I thought it was something, I should be angry and I should smash something. So like maybe that plays along later, because he was saying, I'm not a maybe that I had to do something. I'm trying to be
It's
person.
performative.
Yeah.
So it's sort of performative.
But to do
yeah.
it back then, like when he was doing it, like he started smashing something, thinking, how many should I smash to show that like I'm angry? Like to then go, why did I smash them? But I thought that's what you meant
It's
to
a very
do.
actor thing to do, though, because you have
But this
to
is before he's an
I have to
actor.
externalize
Yeah.
my emotions.
I must show it.
Yes, I must. This is always a little trope that always annoys me. Like when people have a bad phone call and they smash the phone. I'm like, who does that?
Yeah.
Because then you just got to go out and buy a new phone. You know what I mean, you're like, oh, and it would
Oh,
be.
I've known people who would throw it across the room. That's.
I have been tempted with my work laptop.
But that's the self-destruction. I mean, and that is symptomatic of personal issues. We just euphemize it that way.
I suppose, but it's one of those sort of film tropes that just kind of annoy. And it would be more fun if they smashed the phone and gone, oh bugger, now I've got to go and buy a phone.
Yeah.
I've got to go shop and buy a
No,
phone.
but some
I needed
people
that.
do, their brain closes down. Some people
Yeah.
don't have that. Some people are that bloody stupid that they will scream and shout immediately without being able to rationalise what they're doing. Talk about being rational. You're off Instagram.
Yeah.
You've dropped Instagram.
Yeah, about 3 months ago.
Yeah. Business-wise, it's not great, but socially, I completely agree with
Business-wise.
you. Yeah, you decided.
Yeah,
Sodom.
both my followers were devastated.
Yes, you're done. You cancelled it. It
Not
is gone.
necessarily, it's disabled. I think I can turn it back. In fact, I can turn it back.
Oh, for God's sake! If you're going to revolt, do it properly.
All right.
Well, you haven't done anything then.
Well, I have, 'cause I've just-
Why not just not go on it? That's what you've done. You've just not go on it.
Yeah, but it means it's harder to, isn't it? Because it's not an easy.
Why have you not cancelled it?
Because I thought I might change my mind.
That's not very revolutionary of you.
I'm sorry, you're still on Instagram, so
Well,
Yeah, I
I
don't wanna
disabled
be.
my Facebook because Facebook makes me crazy. I have an Instagram. I find it more visually appealing myself to look at, but I find it all so.
Just
it's a big
Facebook,
time.
just so bloody seedy now
Oh,
with all
Facebook
the way it
makes
is,
me
the
crazy.
business model.
Yeah,
And
it's well, on Instagram is Facebook. What's the difference,
Does
really?
what's his
But it
name's-
looks better.
what's his name still own it? The curly haired fella.
Oh, Zuckerberg?
Yeah, does he still own it?
Oh, yeah. The metaverse owns it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're switching to the metaverse, aren't they? So
It's the age we live in of all these people that are sort of like socially inept.
I think that's so funny. You asked a curly-haired guy. I think of him as the wimpy-looking hoodied guy.
The movie
Curly-haired
version.
is not what I would have.
Oh, I don't know. He's got curly. I'm just thinking of the film guy in the film.
I do think of
what's
I think of the
I
film
just
version.
realised I was imagining him. I don't know what Mark Zuckerberg looked like.
I don't know.
It's kind of similar.
He just wears a hoodie. He's the most sort of pale and wan looking. I mean, he looks like there's nothing to him. It's horrifying
There's
what
no
he-
soul inside. It's just an
Right?
act.
He's-
He looks
body
like
of an
one of
alien.
those
Like a
deep sea
ghost.
fish that if you brought it up from the deep sea up to the surface, it would explode. Basically.
I could see him in the first, the Star Wars, in the bar scene. I could see him as one of the just stood there, and you have
Well,
no
there's
makeup on him,
cutaways.
just
Yeah, there's
him
grand
there at the bar, and
cutaways.
you go, "Oh, he's not a human. He's from like a humanist sort of Earth."
You go, oh, it's Hammerhead and
He'd be
Werewolf
drinking
Man,
one of
yeah?
those blue milk
Yeah,
things
yeah.
and having
You
a
go,
good
"Oh, he's
time.
not an alien, but he's what they just do the eyebrows differently." You know, one of those sort of things. Star Wars. So, Star Wars. I wanted to ask, why did you like Star Wars so much? Why are you such a big fan of Star Wars?
It's just magical for me from childhood.
I wonder
you
if
know?
that had anything to do with the archaeology of it. The old
No,
Wars
but you know
passed,
what was amazing about Star Wars to me was that it was futuristic, but it was a long time ago, and everything was dirty and broken looking. It was so real. I could relate to it. Like, I hated Buck Rogers. I did love Battlestar Galactica too. That came after.
Oh, I think that
The
was
first one.
I do like a bit of Buck Rogers.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No,
Which is
too shiny
terrible.
for me. Too shiny for me.
Oh, okay.
That's in a post-apocalypse.
I don't know, but it's the ultimate hero's journey, right? This whole idea about the boy who makes good and discovers all this amazing history that he didn't know he had, and he saves the day.
Is Star Wars the one with the giant bear?
It's a Wookiee.
No, that's
that's
Paddington.
Chewbacca.
Not the little things, the big one.
That's Chewbacca.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, yeah.
He is a Wookiee.
He's a
from
Wookiee.
But I thought the Wookiees were the little ones.
No,
Jeet. No,
those
that's
are
an Ewok.
Ewoks.
From one
or
of the,
Jawas.
from the
Do you
moons
mean
of Endor.
Jawas? No, they're
I
not.
think I mean Ewoks.
Jawas
The-
are super cute though, with their little.
The Wookiees are ones that go.
Oh, that's
the
pretty
big one.
good.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a
You
Wookiee.
speak Wookiee.
Big
I
lads.
do.
Yeah, the big lads.
So he's
And speaking of weaponry, he's got all of his ammo strapped. He's
Got
super
bandoliers,
badass.
Yeah.
So the
Chewie.
little Ewoks, he's a big one.
No,
It's called.
he's a different
They're
species.
But it make
different.
the same noise.
No,
No.
So what is he small?
then he's a baby Wookiee. If he's a small... You know, like how there's children.
Oh, the
and then
Wookiees,
there's
the
adults,
Ewoks don't make
still
that
the same
noise.
Species. No, Ewoks don't.
Oh,
Have you
Wookiees.
seen any of
Ewoks
these
are like
movies,
yub yub
Theo?
and all that kind of stuff.
You haven't?
Oh no,
Okay.
it's the one with the I nearly said the gay robot.
Legitimately, Empire Strikes Back is Star Wars.
Oh,
Star Wars is a good film. Star Wars is a bit camp and a bit corny, but it's fun and it's adventurous.
It's lovable.
and it's
But, I
charming.
mean, it's not a great film. But The Empire Strikes Back's a very perfect narrative arc, if you ask me. Perfect.
Yeah. I think Empire Strikes Back is one of those films where you could show people who aren't particularly into it.
I saw
and
the one
it's-
where
it's
they're getting
legit.
crushed,
That's
Yeah,
Star
that's
Wars,
the
isn't it?
first
and
one.
he puts a pipe there to
Yeah,
stop
He
it.
said, get up on top of it. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I probably know every line in
There
that
you go.
movie.
No,
It's a bit embarrassing.
That's
won't treat you to that.
Is that what's the big thing that explodes?
The
The
Death
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 Star.
Star.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, I might
And the
see
third.
that then.
You've missed out. I think we need to do a live airing for Theo.
I was it's no joke. I was having this conversation last night with somebody saying that some people that don't realise I'm not joking, that when I had to turn 30, whatever, I had to go and watch things that everyone had seen. And I remember going through to watch Star Trek for the first time. I think I knew you. No, I didn't know it was before that. Oh, the second time it came round, I watched them years again
I
later.
remember you were sending me pictures, screen
you did have a
grabs
brief
of the
the
aliens.
original
This is
series
scaring me.
of like dudes with eyebrows and like dudes with like
the little.
The Vulcan clutch.
There were so many weird. I think this doesn't make sense, but it's like really deep, but like meaningful. I could see the
Star Trek has much more philosophy behind it. I
Yeah.
mean, Star Wars is just
and
a story.
just the Kirk was just like, I don't know what I'm watching. I don't know who he is.
But the ideas, it's the concepts. and
Yeah,
the
I was
ideas.
great. So I was
Yeah,
watching it as an
it's-
adult,
yeah,
going, "This is quite
yeah,
meaningful
yeah,
stuff."
this is
But then they
interesting.
throw in like a tinfoil alien that would scare the shit out of me. It doesn't. What the fuck is that? Yeah, so I went and watched The Exorcist, like The Godfather. I had a friend of mine was like older than me, and he said, "Go and watch this." He'd buy me DVDs I'd never seen, but I've still got massive gaps that I haven't seen certain things until enough people say it, then I go and watch it. But so we'll end there. Has anyone got else they want to say?
Can we talk about Star Wars more another time? I want to
Yeah.
convince you that you need to watch it.
You do.
Is that there's originally three good ones, isn't there?
There's the 3 originals, which are good.
Yeah, I'm not watching anything after
Then
that.
there was.
Oh,
there was
no.
three-
There are some good ones
There were-
later.
Oh no,
Oh,
it's not worth my time.
As a
that's the
company,
thing.
they're like sort of side chapters. You know what I mean? They're sort of like accompaniments.
I'm having a horror. I can't. The one where we get to see Darth Vader's making is really good.
Revenge of the Sith.
Thank you.
I'm-
Can you believe I couldn't remember the name?
Before
of
we
that.
get together again, I'm going to watch the Star Wars. I'm going to watch
Yeah,
Star
just
Wars.
it's
First
called A New Hope now, but
The first one.
Yeah.
Don't confuse me.
yeah,
Okay.
no, the first one is not good. What they call ooh,
The first one isn't really good.
it's now the fourth one that you need to start.
Oh,
with.
yeah, yeah. Well,
you need to start with A New Hope.
technically, the first film is the 4th film.
Yeah,
But is this like the 90s now?
And they did a prequel.
I'm only watching the older ones. I'm not
Yeah,
watching...
no,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are the
you
old
do-
ones.
you-
There's 4 old
There's
ones.
3.
three.
You said, what's the 4th one?
Yes.
because it's
Well, no, they've now made it into a set of 3.
So this one
trilogies.
involves-
to get out the side.
I'm just going to watch one film.
Yeah, they
but
did 3 good ones, basically late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
They did 3 good ones. Those
Yeah.
are the 3 you
Yeah.
watch. Then they did 3 others in the late 90s,
Oh, wow.
early noughties that were not very good. So it was the same writer and creator and director, and they go, here, he wants to do 3 more films. And
I
they
do
said,
think
have some.
Revenge of the Sith is really good, though.
Yeah.
It's
Revenge of the Sith
heavy.
is
What's the one
It's
with the metal
heavy.
goat? That big thing.
The metal goat?
The big, massive thing.
Oh, the walkers.
It looked
That's
like the thing in
Empire
Lord of the
Strikes Back.
Rings, you know, the
but
big
it's
thing.
huge.
Yeah,
and there are
massive.
people at us from Return of the Jedi.
Is that one of the
from
first
The Empire
ones?
Strikes Back. Oh my gosh, which is great.
Oh, I must have seen the first one. I'm going to go and watch
That's
it.
the second.
That's
one.
the
I'll give you my
second.
review if anyone hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Come back for the review.
They're-
a hot
they're-
take.
Because the first Star Wars is good. Empire Strikes Back is actually really
Okay.
like, legitimately good film. Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
If he had some good moments, but the bits with the Emperor and
That's
stuff
the
are
one
really,
with all
really
the
good.
Ewoks, the non-Chewbacca Wookie.
Yeah, I might come back
tiny,
and having realised
fluffy
who's
teddy
wearing
bear
Yeah.
things.
Quite
But it-
offensive to them to call the one the other.
I don't think
Probably
they
some
might.
law about it.
I
Nowadays,
don't
there
think you're
probably
going to
is.
get cancelled for it.
Right, well, that's it. So that's the second show, the second part of the first show. So we're not going to always do 4 people shows, but we thought we'd get everybody together as the extra host now. So you're in. So you're now one of the official members of the show. Kerem, lock the door. She's in. So we're going to start with the interviews again soon. But it's been nice having us 4 people, hasn't it? Kerem's been handling it. We've got all the mics going,
Thank
camera
you for
work.
having me.
Thank you to the production team. Oh, yeah. Before we go, you want to mention your podcast? You've got your own podcast.
Oh, I do.
2 minutes before Kerem turns the power off.
I do. Yeah.
So what's the show, The Time
Yeah.
Scribe?
No, that's my
Oh.
silly social media
Oh, I thought that was
moniker. Like Time Scribe. I write about
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
But no, my podcast is not called The Time Scribe. It's called Working Overtime.
Oh, yeah,
There's
yeah.
time in there too.
And how often does that come out?
It's now a little more irregular than I'd like. It used to come out every
Than I'd like.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, you know what? It debuted during lockdown.
Yeah.
And so I work with some people who help me with the more technical side and the production of it. I'm the host, but people have real jobs again now, and
Yeah.
so it's a little difficult. But it's basically looking at society through the lens of work, overtime, and across cultures. I
What
say
sort
that
of
every time
topics
in
have you?
introductions.
What sort
Sorry.
of things have you spoken about?
Oh, well, so the interesting thing is that it kind of morphed. It started out with the idea that it would be sort of extinct jobs, cool things, like the keeper of the king's stool, which is actually disgustingly like it sounds in Tudor times. It was the guy who would help Henry VIII
Wipe his butt.
relieve himself. Yeah, which, you think, oh, gross. Okay, it's just the gross factor like horrible histories. But in fact, you think about it, that guy had a pretty intimate relationship with the king that nobody else does. And
Right.
so it was a very coveted position. So we thought we'd do like crazy things like that. But it kind of morphed into different jobs that still exist today and maybe don't sound all that interesting, but really resonate even today.
And how often does that come out roughly? Is it one a month? Is it once a
Oh,
week?
is it every couple of weeks? We've got about 53 episodes out.
Did I see you on a video talking about Wolfman or something?
Wolfman.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe. I end up talking about a lot of
There was
different things.
something strange. I
That's
thought
probably
that's
not
strange.
to do with my podcast. though.
Okay. No, it wasn't. Okay. Well, there you go. So it's called Working
Overtime.
the podcast. So that's the show.
Yes.
And thank you very much, Kerem, for hanging around. David, looking great in his shirt, a new addendum to the team.
Looking hot. Let's be honest.
Yeah. A single man. All right, so that's the show. So thank you very much. We will be back with more interviews soon. Hit it, David.
Bye.
Here's your story, let's begin. right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. You're welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than